Hello and welcome everybody to 1987. If you were around in 1987, you would remember a movie called The Princess Bride. It's about true love and sports like fencing and fighting and pirates. It's super exciting. If you haven't seen it, why are you watching this video? So, in 1987, Ben Hogan came out with a re-released version of the Radial. They put a marking on here. This is not a comparison. I've already reviewed the 1983 version of the Ben Hogan Radial. I want to do a 1987 review, standalone. Maybe in the future we'll do a comparison of the two. But right now it's just the 1987 Ben Hogan forged radial iron. And I know something that you do not know. I am not left-handed. So we're going to review the right-handed model here today. Let's get on the review table and have a closer look. These clubs are easy to recognize. Hogan signature right here on the aft portion. Then there's this little cutout for the top line. On the sole is where it really gives it away from the 1983 version. The 1983 version just says Radial, where this one has the radial with the line going underneath the letters after the R. See how it extends from the R aft, or to the toe, I should say. That is the easy way to identify it, followed by the club number. Club number, radial with the line, Hogan. Just beautiful, clean, simple, less is more kind of ideas right here. While we talked about the top line, let's show you the top line right there. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, at a dress, it just looks phenomenal. No complaints. Minimal offset, if any. Thin top line. Kind of a pointy toe here on the 6-iron. Curves down, slightly rounded down here. You can see the placement of the bottom groove. I like the face, no nonsense, no extra decorations, just grooves, nice finish. Kind of a pointy edge right here. Spin around one more time, give you guys the full toe profile. You can see how thick that sole is right there. Nice muscle look to it. We have some crimping around here. It's pinned. You can see the pin right here. Black shaft with, it looks like a serial number. As we move up the stepped shaft, we have Hogan, the famous Apex branded shafts, very lightweight, strong steel. You can see I labeled this one 1987. Golf Pride Tour Wrap grip. Is this one they were made in the USA? Made in the USA, it says right down here. So it's been regripped at some point, but I think we're ready to get this out on the range and see how it does. It does the job just fine. It's actually a really solid iron. It feels like a Ben Hogan should. It has this big, wider sole, which gives me a little bit more confidence. Now, you guys know my story about when I was starting out, I bought some secondhand clubs at, I think it was Goodwill or something in Michigan. And one of the clubs that I had was a 6-iron Ben Hogan Radial. It just happened to be in there. Was it a 5-iron or I think it was a 6-iron. And it was hard for me to hit that club, but when I did hit it, it just sounded so nice. It just felt so good. And so I've always wanted a set, never really got around to it. And that was the 83 version. The 87 version, I've noticed it's easier to find. It's only a few years difference, but I've noticed it's easier to find these in better condition. Surprise, it's newer. And they feel lovely. I like them. I wouldn't describe them as forgiving, but for a fun 80s round, what would I rather play than this? I mean, Ben Hogan Redline, maybe. You see how it's easy. The McGregor came out with some amazing irons. The Jack Nicklaus, Murfield. So there are some amazing competitors, but this is a very solid iron that I hit pretty well. And when you do connect with this, it gives you that nice feedback and that nice sound. Lovely, lovely. before Mizuno was around, like really took off in the late 90s, early 2000s, this Ben Hogan, it was the Hogan Club. So let me know your thoughts about this. I really enjoy these clubs, and I'm still looking. It's been over 20 years since I first bought my secondhand Goodwill version used Ben Hogan Radial, and I still want a set. It's not very high on my list, but it's always, they're endearing. Does that make sense? The wider sole, which kind of gives this appearance of forgiveness, while it's still this muscle back, which rewards perfect hits, because they have to be perfect, and gives you feedback. That's the polite way of saying it. Hurts your hands when you mishit it. So I like this club. It's really endearing. I don't know if I would describe it as true love. Bye-bye, boys. Have fun storming the castle. If you want to support this channel, you can support me on Patreon. I'll put a link in the description below. I like to give credits to my patrons, so if you are new to Patreon, I have a couple of new patrons, and I'll send you a personal message on Patreon, so you have to go to patreon.com, look at your personal messages, and I'm asking for permission usually to put your name in the credits. If you want your name in the credits, let me know. I'll put it up for you. Otherwise, I'll respect your privacy. If you don't answer, I'll just leave your name off. Every little bit helps. Thank you so much to my patrons. If you also want to support this channel by purchasing something, you can go to my Amazon shop. I'll put a link in the description below. I have golf clubs and poker stuff, various other things. You can go look at my shop in the link in the description below. As usual, thank you so much for watching. I am the Vintage Golfer.